Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from today. A very warm welcome to today's webinar, which is hosted by Smart Water Magazine, entitled From Data to Action, Building a Digital Twin of Brabant Water's Network with Xylem Vue. Our agenda today is quite simple. I will introduce the speakers and then hand over to them to walk us through their digital twin journey. And that will be followed by a live demo of the Xylem Vue platform. We will have time at the end for questions, so feel free during the presentation to add those questions into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. And do that as we go through the presentation, and I'll attempt to group similar questions together at the end to make sure we answer as many as we can. If there are any questions that we don't actually manage to answer today, we can always get back to you after the event. For those of you that wish to download an accreditation certificate, you should see a QR code appearing on your screen, both at the beginning of this webinar, but once again, also at the end if you have missed it or you do miss it. So feel free to capture that and you'll be able to be provided with that certificate for CPD. For those of you who are not familiar with the Xylem Vue platform, which is featuring in today's webinar, it's a data and analytics platform that provides solutions across the water cycle developed to support water and wastewater utilities around the globe. So it allows things from digital twins of water distribution networks, which we're going to be looking at today, through to leakage detection, meter data analytics, wastewater network operational optimization, all the way through to treatment process optimization for both drinking and wastewater. So if I quickly move on to the panel that we have today. First of all, myself, Ruth Clark, I'm Head of Digital for the UK and Ireland for Xylem. And today I will take neither a role of an expert or a speaker, but I will be acting as a moderator. We are also joined by Wouter Houseman, who is the Programme Manager for this project at Brabant Water, taking the lead for the overall project itself. And we also have Ludo Boomer, who is a project leader for IT. So Ludo's been responsible for the platform integration side of things, among many other things. And he's one of many project leaders involved in delivering the project as a whole, each with their own specialization. And finally, we have Maricruz Olabas, who has been the project manager for Idrica, coordinating the delivery of the Xylem Vue platform to meet Brabant Water's needs. So Maricruz is not going to be presenting today, but she is going to be available during the Q&A session. So if you've got any questions specifically for her, please don't hesitate in also pondering those. So I will stop sharing now and we can move on to Wouter, who's going to take us away on the first step of this presentation.
Thank you, Ruth. Good afternoon, good day, everybody. Hope everybody can hear me, and I will also start sharing my screen with the presentation we have on our journey we are on for the last 4 years. So I will start sharing my screen and go to presentation mode. Yes, we're all set. Yes, this presentation will be on the digital twin of Brabant Water and the steps and the journey we've made, and also the way to data-driven operations. And I start introducing Brabant Water as a company. We are a utility in the south of the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, we have 10 utilities providing drinking water. Each utility has its own area. We are in the south, in the province of Brabant. We provide drinking water to about 2.6 million customers, and we do that by 1.3 million connections. And in the Netherlands, every connection has a water meter. So we have about 1.3 million water meters in our asset group. Our distribution network has a size of 19,000 kilometers of mains spread over the province. And as we use groundwater as a main source of drinking water, we have 29 water production plants spread over our surface area. We provide 200 million cubic meters of drinking water each year, and we do that with approximately 1,000 colleagues. And to give you an overview of our surface area, here you can see that we are in the south of the Netherlands, and our surface area has different characteristics. We have several larger cities, as you can see on the map, especially the Eindhoven region is a very rapid growing region if you look at population. But we also have lots of rural areas. So in the more urban areas, we have lots of customers on relatively short lengths of network, where in rural areas we have less customers and longer stretches of network. So that also defines the layout of our network and the distribution of water. And I don't know, as I not can see you, but I guess you're from all over the world. And the image of the Netherlands is that we are a very wet country. We have lots of water, we have rivers, we have the sea. But also here in the Netherlands, we are facing drought. I guess since the summer of 2017-18, we've had very warm and hot summers that really stretched the water distribution here. And we also see that, well, also a lot of other users fight for water, especially during the hot summers. And it makes that the whole water system is out of balance. So that's a big challenge for us as a company. And also we have a limit to our sources, as we have permits on the amount of water that we can extract each year. And with a limit to our sources and the increasing population, we have a very big challenge to deal with that. Another challenge for us as a company is retirements. Maybe that's quite common for the utility sector, but we have many colleagues working here for over 30 years, and this group of colleagues is retiring quite rapidly. And we set all these challenges at the beginning of the program, and now we are on a journey for 4 years, are already seeing the whole population of our company changing. So this is a challenge that we are really dealing with and where we can see the change. Another big change for us as a company is digitalization of the society as a whole. Everybody has a smartphone. You have access to information from all around the world. And our customers also expect this from us as a company. So when there is something wrong in the water distribution, if there is a leakage, people want to be informed and expect from us that we know what's going on, maybe already on forehand. And the other challenges we have to face is the energy transition here in the Netherlands. We have a lot of renewable projects. Electricity network gets a huge upgrade. So this also affects our drinking water network. And what we also see is the increasing and also changing costs in energy, where energy is one of the main things we add to the drinking water. So increasing costs in energy directly affect us as an organization. So these are the challenges we started the program with. And at the beginning of the program, we set a clear goal. And that goal is in 2025, Brabant Water has a real-time hydraulic model of the distribution network. And we call this the digital twin, and use this digital twin to be able to do data-driven operations. And you see here two words, Sophia and the Dutch word opad. We are talking about the Sophia program. That's the digital twin program. And Sophia stands for Smart Operations from Intelligent Assets. And the Sophia program is part of a bigger program where we are, as a company, dealing with all the challenges we have as a company. And that's the OPAD, or in English, On Track program, where we have different tracks. And the Sophia program, where we are working on, is the biggest program in the track Our Future. So this is one of the biggest innovative programs. We also have a lot of other innovations running. So this is the goal we started with. And that was in the end of 2021. And I got a question, yes, we want to have a digital twin of the distribution network. And yeah, how shall we start with that? So we discussed this here internally, and we said, okay, we need help and we need time to really define what is a digital twin and what does the digital twin mean for the company and how does it impact the company. So what we did in 2022, we started off by making a blueprint of this digital twin, and we looked in the market for help in order to write this blueprint. And that's the point where we started working together with Idrica, now part of Xylem, where we, based on their experiences, helped and they helped us to write this blueprint. And in this blueprint, we really looked at all aspects of the digital twin. So on the devices we needed to install, the requirements of the devices, the IT aspects, the platform that we needed, but also organizational aspects. So how will this impact the organization? What are new skills that will be needed in order to operate the digital twin, but also to maintain all the devices we are going to install. And then at the beginning of 2023, with this blueprint, we went to our board of directors. We had a very good and intense session with the board of directors, where we really went through all the aspects of the digital twin. And based on this meeting, we got a unanimous go on the program and all the projects within the program by the board of directors. And this was a really important start of the project. And also the ownership of our board of directors is along the whole journey very important. So this is the go. From there, we started off with the different projects. Started off tendering of the devices of the IT, and started to implement. And we did that in 2024. This year, we really scaled up in installing assets, and also almost finalized the implementation of the platform. And next year, we will continue rolling out smart water meters, sensors in the network, and also keep developing the platform. So this is more or less the roadmap we went on. In the blueprint, we also set a very clear scope, and I guess this is also part of the success of the project, because you can make a digital twin of many things. It can also be on water quality. It can also be on the condition of the mains. It can also be on other topics. We set this digital twin scope. We want to go from our GIS, which you can see on the background, and I always call the GIS more or less the family picture of our network, to a living model, and then mainly focusing on water flows through the network. So what we want is these 4 scope areas. We want to be able to real-time monitor water flow through the network. If there are any anomalies, we want to detect them. We want to be able to simulate different scenarios, such as leakage, valve closure, or new customers added to the network. And we wanted to be able to know when and where water is leaving the network. We call that the consumption patterns. So this is the scope we set for the digital twin. And how did we set up the program? The main focus is on, and you can see that in the top, data-driven operations. So that's the focus, and we want to do this data-driven operations with the digital twin of the distribution network. And we set up this pyramid with all parts of the project. So we have the base layer, and those are 2 projects: a sensor project where we install sensors in the network, and a smart water meter project where we acquired and are now installing smart water meters at our largest customers. Then on top of that, all these assets are gathering data, sending data to Brabant Water. We have the data platform, and in this case, it's the Xylem Vue data platform. And within this data platform, we're also setting up hydraulic models of all areas, all parts of our network with a specific hydraulic model. So that's more or less where we manage the data and where the hydraulic models are more or less the engine in the platform. And on top of that, we have the dashboards where we make the data available, and which can also, for instance, be used in our control center where we have dashboarding, where we can overlook our operations and can execute simulations. And the outcome of these simulations and dashboards and the actions on that is to really, in a different way, operate our distribution network to really support our mechanics in the field, to be more proactive. So becoming from reactive to be more proactive and already see if there are any malfunctions in the network, instead of customers calling us to tell us that there is something wrong and that there is a leak, for instance, in the network. And now I will make the step to where we are at the moment. And I start off with the different assets. First of all, the smart water meters. In order to see where water leaves the network at what time, we are installing smart water meters at our biggest customers. And we did the analysis, and if we look at all our customers, the top 10%, so about 120,000 customers, they consume more or less half of the water that we distribute. So for now, we will install smart water meters at this group of customers. And we have 2 water meters coming out of our tender. We installed the Kamsnoek water meters and water meters provided by Xylem and made by Xylem. So this summer we started with the installment of these smart water meters. At the moment we have about 8,000 smart water meters installed. By the end of the year we hope to have installed 20,000, and next year we will do the other 100,000. So it's a big step for us, where we're having analog water meters where customers once a year send in their meter readings, and now we go from this 1 meter reading each year to 24 meter readings sent in every day. And then the next important asset we are installing are sensors in the network. And on the right, you see a flow meter installed in the network. And we are setting up 100 DMAs. And on the next slide, I will show a picture of the DMAs. So that for each DMA, we get a real-time water balance of how much water is going in and out of this DMA. So we set up the flow meters, and at the flow meters, there is also a pressure and a temperature sensor. And in the DMAs, and that's what you see on the left, we have this so-called smart probe by Pipelife. And this is a battery-fed pressure sensor, so that we also can measure the pressure within the DMAs. And we are installing about 500 of the pressure sensors and 400 of the flow meters, so about 900 to 1,000 sensors in total. And this picture shows our service area. We have more or less, and that is what you can see by the bigger white lines, more or less 21 independent areas provided with several pumping stations, and each area has its own hydraulic model. And this is what we are going to cut up into 100 DMAs, as you can see by the bluish areas. And then we go to the data foundation, and I think then I'm going to hand over the presentation to my colleague Ludo Beumer, who is the IT project lead in the program.
Well, thank you very much, Wouter. I'm Ludo. I'm started in the 1st of January in 24, so when Wouter was running the asset infrastructure. We also needed a data platform, and that was the time I stepped in to this program. And I will guide you to the topics involved for the data platform the data science part. Well, one of the important decisions made in the project is where we're going to host a data solution. Within Brabant Water, we are used to work with Microsoft, and we also had a strong opinion to go to a cloud solution. And Xylem Vue and Idrica have also a lot of experience in this solution, so we did make the choice together to go for this type of hosting. And for us, it was important that it was located also within the Netherlands. So within Middenmeer, we have a data center for Microsoft, and we did choose for zone redundancy. That means that at the Middenmeer, we have two physical buildings with the solution. So if one thing happens to the other one take over. If needed in the future, we also can go for geo redundancy in another country. The hosting solution is managed by Idrica and Xylem Vue, but it's within the Brabant Water network. And we also do have the access. So we always have access to the solution provided by Xylem Vue, which was also very important because our important data is in there. Besides the Azure hosting, we also needed a good platform to facilitate all the integrations. And we decided to use the Azure integration platform as a one-stop shop for all API users. We use this for the project, but this also is the future standard for Brabant Water. So this integration layer was new, but also the old integration layers we have, they will be out of order in a couple of years. So this was the right moment to bring this innovative platform and use the integration part. It handles secure access, so authentication and authorization. It handles the request and response. We also can make transformations in the data. Also from performance part, we can do throttling, we can do rate limiting, caching, and monitoring logging. And we also launch within Brabant Water our API portal so that all the API users can access the APIs, can see the specifications, and we did this running the project. Well, what do we integrate via that integration layer from the Azure integration part? We have our ERP system where a lot of information is stored. For example, our digital water meters. So our asset information from SAP is transferred through the Azure integration layer towards the Xylem Vue platform. You also did see the family picture where Wouter referred to. So our GIS, our pipes, our network. That information is provided via the GIS integration. So the pipes, the valves, but also connection points, they are integrated. And if there are any if there are any changes in the GIS, the information will be updated in Xylem Vue through the integration. Then we also have a lot of production plans, 29, and production plans provide very valuable information like the flow and the pressure from the water that is produced. That information is running through the SCADA system and delivered to PyOsisoft, and PyOsisoft exposes the data to the Azure integration platform, and we will bring it to the Xylem Vue platform. Well, with all that water meters in our network, we also want to invoice those water meters and the consumption, and that's the reason we also have a integration with our customer system, Mecoms. So we use the meter readings also to automatically invoice our customers. Furthermore, we also decided to not integrate with other vendor platforms for sensors or water meters. So we did have some pilots in the past, but we are going to replace them by modern technology. So we did make the decision not to put any effort in integrating a system that will be removed in the near future. One of the takeaways and the advice it could give, well, don't integrate everything, so make wise decisions, parts that don't change often. For example, we don't create new production plans every week. Yeah, make a wise decision what to integrate and what not. Dynamic data, of course, but not all the static asset data needs to be integrated, for my opinion. We also have sensors in the field. They are from our supplier Crest. They are pressure and flow sensors. And we have water meters from Sagemcom and Kansloop. All those vendors, they deliver the information that we need via the Vodafone platform based on narrowband IoT technology directly to the Xylem Vue platform. For the data loggers, that can be near real time or once every 10 minutes if they are battery powered. For the water meters that we now have in our network, it's once a day, 24 values. But we are also looking to solutions to have that for bigger customers, also near real time, because those customers have a huge impact on the consumption and the water in the network. And also one of the takeaways I can give is, well, don't stick to vendor platforms. If you are able to extract the data without the vendor platform, you also are more flexible and also not tailored to their solution. So you have the data in your own system and you can do anything with it what you like. Well, then I go to the portal and the Xylem Vue platform. When we started, I think it was 4 years ago, the platform was not that well equipped as it is now. So also during the project, a lot of capabilities on the Xylem Vue platform have been added. So also with a big project like this within Brabant Water, also Xylem Vue and Idrica noticed some new features could be very valuable. So they were placed on the roadmap and some of them have already also been delivered while we're running and we're integrating the project. The platform, it's also important to have a safe access. So we decided to create the in-log via single sign-on. So our Brabant Water users don't need to enter their password separately. It's well administered and they can easily access it. User management is quite, there's a lot of settings that you can create. So it's also good to determine certain roles and to use to make a mapping between the actually applications, the functions, and the users. On the right part of the screen, you have the overview. This is the portal. And as a functional manager, I'm also able to change this view. So I can add icons, I can change things. So you have the flexibility to arrange it what is best for your users. When developing a project like this, there are three main parts. Well, we have the Xylem Vue product and the modules. So they are developed by Xylem Vue. They have their own roadmap. They have own product owners. So that's a standardized product. On top of that, we have the tailor-made integrations for Brabant Water. And you have the implementation and configuration. So those three parts together, they make the solution. So there's a lot of tailoring in that part as well. So it's also good that you have an environment strategy and testing incorporated in all the right environments. Then I go to some modules. We have the Xylem Vue Smart Water Engine. And one of the heart of the system is the DMD module, Domain Master Data. Well, the name says it. All the data from our network and the assets that are in there, they are well structured and available in the platform and also integrated where applicable. So that's the static data. And then we have a module called IoT Core. That's where all the dynamic data will be available in the platform. So the water meter readings, also the sensor data, everything that is real time and changed often is in that module covered. To monitor our data loggers in the field and the sensors, there is also the capability device management that you can use, where you can have the overview which devices are installed, when did the latest information was received, how is it with the battery condition. That kind of information is provided in that module. We have the port, that's the DT builder, that's the capability that the hydraulic modelers from Idrica and our colleagues use to also build the modules for the real-time what-if scenarios. Well, now we have the assets, we have the data from the assets, static and dynamic. So then we go to the third level of the pyramid, the data science tooling on top of that. There are some really nice modules within Xylem Vue. One of them is unified network management. This is used by our control room to see pressure drops, changes in the flow, and they can act on leakages in the network based on the dashboards they have been made in the unified network management. So all the data that's in the platform can be visualized, as you see on the top left, in the bottom left. Then the real-time what-if scenarios, that is the actual digital twin. Wouter will give the demo from that part as well. This is where you can run scenarios. So what if we change something in our network, or we stimulate a burst, what will happen with the other part of the network? And I think it's the most valuable part of the platform, so that you can predict what will happen if a certain scenario takes place. Then we have the leak detection module. Within Brabant Water, we have a relatively low amount of non-revenue water, but still this module can be very interesting, because certain areas can have a relatively high amount of water loss. And this module will give insights on DMA level, where we have leakages that we don't know at the moment. Then we have a metadata analytics module that is used for our smart water meters. Perhaps you can imagine, if you are installing thousands and thousands digital meters every week, that it's good that you can monitor the rollout, that you can see if they are placed, if they are delivering the data. This module gives that insights, and it also gives the insights of the consumption in a certain area for our customers. And in the future, we will use this information also for advices to our customers about water reduction and give better insight in their usage. But this is for the near future. And then we also have the operational intelligence parts that are dashboarding that's being arranged, where we can see the overall performance of the platform and the network, and can also bring additional validations to it. And this is how we came from the data, the hosting, the integrations, and the modules of the platform. And I think it's for Wouter to take over to show you the real magic of the platform.
Yes, thank you, Ludo. And I will go over to the demo. And the demo will take you through the Xylem Vue platform and show some of the modules as Ludo has shown. And we will do some simple simulations here. So now we are in the platform, and we'll start the demo. And we are in the platform, and you can see the different parts of the platform. So the smart water engine, where the data is managed and comes in. Business intelligence, where we can access with Python or Power BI, and the different apps such as leak detection, metadata analytics, and unified network management that gives you the opportunity to access and make dashboarding. One of these dashboardings, as you can see, this is a dashboard, an overview of our service area, where we can see the actual inflow of each area and also the lowest pressure in each area. So in Eindhoven, you see a small red dot. So the level is more or less 250 kPa, and we are just slightly underneath it. This is the synoptic overview. Also for distribution people, this is quite new. We are used to work with GIS, so a real representation of the network. And this synoptic overview gives us the opportunity to have a quick and easy overview, but we can also switch to the GIS view, as you see here. And this is the real-time what if module, and we will do some simulations here. So first we are setting the view. We will make a view where we can see pressure, and this is the city of Den Bosch, where our office is located. Here you can see pressure and also the flow, the size of the flow within the different mains. We zoom in now in just a little street, and the main is on an end. And what we will do here is to close the valve, and it's just a simulation to show. And it's quite obvious that if we close this valve now, that there will be no water distributed to the connections after the valve. So the system is now running and looking in the hydraulic simulation, and you can see already the dots, the nuts in the hydraulic model have turned red. So there is no pressure there. And if you zoom out, you have a quick overview and see that there is something wrong there in the network. Now we will reopen the valve, and we will simulate also what is the effect of a burst there in the network. So now we are reopening the valve and then simulate burst, and we can choose from small, medium, or large burst, and we will simulate a large burst so that we can see what's the effect on water delivery in the area of the burst. And we apply, and then it will start calculating again. And as you see, it starts calculating. And then we can see that all the nuts will get a different color. Yeah, here you see much more red, orange dots in this area. And if we zoom out, we will also have the quick overview. And you will see that this is the affected area. And what we have not realized yet, but what we see as a part of the project in the future is also now we know exactly all customers affected, that we connect this also with our customer systems so that we, for instance, can send a message to these customers that are affected to inform them on what's going on in the network and also when it will be resolved. So this was a smart overview of what we can do in the network, in the Xylem Vue platform. There are many more things that we can do with this platform, but just a small demo of what's the capabilities of the platform and the module to simulate. So these simulations and these insights from the platform, they help us to get overview. For that, we also have a new department, the control room, that has overview of water distribution, also water production. And they can support the mechanics in the field by advising them which valves to close, for instance, and also to see the impacted area if there is a leakage, for instance. So this is where we are at the moment. And we started off with the challenges that we face as a company. And we've been in this program for 4 years now, and we already see the first benefits, although this year is really where all the pieces of the puzzle are getting together. So these are just the first benefits, and next years we will gain many more. We already see that we are becoming more and more in control. We have much more pressure sensors giving us information of the actual pressure in the network. We are also able to perform comparison between areas. So we can already see some areas that maybe perform better or worse. Another very important thing, and also, well, to make the project a success, is that we have new staff, so new skills coming in. Ludo, for instance, is a project lead that joined the program halfway. For him, it was also very attractive to start working on a project like this. But I also see it in the different methods we use in IT, for instance, for integration. So there's also a different way of working. Also, new staff gets in there. Also, data scientists running or being part of the teams in the different business departments. Also, a very new skill that we didn't have at Brabant Water a couple of years ago. What we also can create now is that we can offer our clients new services. For instance, with the smart water meters, we can see also if there is a continuous flow of water at the customer, for instance. So we can inform them that there might be a leak in their building, for instance. So this is a new service, one of the new services that we can offer to our customers. Also automatic billing, so that they don't have to send in their meter reading anymore. And what we see with this project, because it impacts all parts of our organization, that we are really breaking through silos. Where in the past, we really had a world of production, water production, we had a world of water distribution, we had a world of the customer department. Here we are working together with colleagues from all these departments, and that's really, well, working as one company. So that's also a very big and good achievement that we have made with the program. So then the last slide, the lessons learned. What was really important was ownership by our board of directors, that they really said, okay, this is the way we want to go. We support this and we are really on top of it. But also ownership by our colleagues. We have a lot of new processes, new assets, new things to do. And yes, the colleagues have to take ownership and say, okay, I'm responsible for this part. I will manage this part. I will fix these problems. And if you can do that together, then you get further. And that brings us to the other one. It's also the partnership, also the way of working with Idrica, for instance, that we really work together on the Xylem Vue platform, so that when there are things going not maybe as planned, that you give each other space to tackle the problems, to really work on them together, and that brings you forward. And that brings me to the top of this triangle: be agile and just take the step forward. You can sit for hours and hours and days in meeting rooms discussing how things should look like, but reality will always be different. So just take the step forward, and you will experience how it is to have smart water meters, how it is to have sensors, how it is to have this platform. Of course, new questions will arise, but that just brings you forward, and that just will bring you the benefits to tackle the challenges you have as a drinking water utility. So this was our journey, or is still our journey. The journey has not ended, but this is where we are at the moment. So I guess now we will switch to Ruth again to have the Q&A. I will stop sharing.
And I will hopefully now be sharing again.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. That was a great overview of your journey. And I particularly like the be agile on the last slide there. That's a lesson for us all, I think. So with all these kinds of webinars, you always wonder how many questions you're going to get. I'm going to say right now, we're not going to be able to answer all of them because there's been absolutely loads. I've tried to group them together in sort of similar themes, so we'll get through as many as possible. So if I start, and if you can bear with me, because there's so many of them, I've made a bit of a note. This really goes to any of you on the panel here. So you could all either, if you've all got something to say, please do just jump in. But what was the most complex aspect of developing and deploying Brabant's Water Digital Twin in practice? So you've probably all got a different view on this. So maybe all three of you could could answer that. So, Wouter, do you want to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most complex thing is that you have so much pieces in the puzzle that you have to bring together. So you have to, well, align all these pieces of the puzzle. For instance, you have these assets provided by one company, you have the platform provided by another company. We are in the middle of it, so you have to bring everybody together and to speak the same language in order to make it work. So that's one part of it, but also, for instance, installation of sensors in the public space. You have to work with municipalities. We have to deal with over 50 municipalities who also have to give permits for installation. And it's also the new way of working. So it's also to really, as a project team, work together, and it's also to move other colleagues within the company.
That change management kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it goes from technical aspects to change management to also our stakeholders surrounding our company. And bringing that together is complicated, but also it's really gives a lot of satisfaction if it's working out.
Okay.
Yeah, my addition to that is that there is also always a chain of parties involved to get a solution working, and I think the landscape is quite complex. Also, the backgrounds of all the parties involved was different, and I think the most part we did very well is to align all those parties to give them a common goal. And if there was attention to get friction, we stated, well, we don't want to play the blame game, we go for the solution and we work together as a team. And also to get that overview, and also based on the experience, that was really difficult, but I think we managed very well, thanks to all the people involved and the right mindset.
Excellent. Marie-Cruz, I don't know if you've got anything to add or if you think that covers it.
Yeah, quite a lot. I mean, and for us, the main challenge also was because, as a project manager, when you have to deliver some technological solution, you already have all your planning, all your chronogram, the things that you are going to do, first this, then that. We can parallelize this and that. But the thing that is most important, and in this kind of project, the most is to align and also stay focused on the end goal. The goal was not to deliver Xylem Vue modules, but the digital twin for the smart operation. So as Ludo and Wouter said, at the end, we have to align a lot. And to also, I think that we truly achieved that, to become a team. It's not them or us, it's us, it's the whole team. And we are working quite well together to achieve the common goal. So yes, it's important to have a plan, and it's important also to don't lose sight of the end goal and be able to work flexibly and accommodate to the dates of the delivery of the sensors, the installation in the field, and so on. So a lot of things to take into account, and just stop, align, and continue, and for sure make us one team only with the same goal, the same objective in mind.
I guess this leads on to another question, which I'm going to pose to you, Wouter, as a program manager. I guess it sounds like you had it fairly well contained, but how do you manage scope creep? I always think with projects that are like this, that are quite innovative and quite exciting, a lot of people think, oh, we could do this as well, and it could do this as well. It's quite sometimes hard to keep everybody focused on the end goal. How did you manage that?
Yeah, we started off with the blueprint, and I think that's still a very important step. So that's really the blueprint where, if people have questions, can we do this or that, or can we add some other functionalities? We go back to the blueprint and said, okay, this is what we have agreed upon. And of course, there are some new insights and changes, but the blueprint is really the basis of what we are building. So if these questions occur, we go back to the blueprint, and we set this blueprint and project for within the OPAT program. So that was till 2025. So now we are redefining with other scope aspects we can take up the next years.
Right. Excellent. So you were strict.
In addition to that, Ruth, we also did some descoping. I think you have always to keep in mind the effort it takes and the value it brings. So also there were some parts that were listed in scope, but we saw the amount of effort we needed to achieve it and the value it did bring. So we did some of the integration we did skip because it was less important. So they were on the scope list, but we descoped them.
Okay.
That's the way
that is a really important point, actually, that you realize as you go along this journey that sometimes things aren't going to deliver the benefit you thought they might at the beginning. We talked slightly about change management. I guess another question is how is user training managed to ensure that all operators and departments can effectively use a digital twin? Because I guess you can deploy the best platform in the world. If people don't use it properly, it's not going to achieve the benefits that you're looking for. I don't know who wants to answer that.
Also, this one is going back to the blueprint. There we already defined all organizational aspects. For instance, IoT, all these devices, they will have IoT data, and also the data flow has to be managed. So one of the new teams also defined within the blueprint was a IoT data management team. So based on the blueprint, for instance, we set up this team. And in a broader sense, it's also was really important to add the users already to the project teams. But it's always a balance to implementing a product that's not yet functioning. So you don't have the benefits yet until you have it. But it was a constant attention to add the users to the teams. Because also when people start working with it, then they can train also their other colleagues. For instance, in the control room, we have some key users. They are really involved. They start working with the system, and now they can train also their other users working with the system. So yes, you start up with a basic training, for instance, provided by Idrica, but also having the key users within the project, really learning to work with the system, and then they can train their other colleagues.
Yeah, very good. So Ludo, I've got one for you here, really about how you future-proof the deployment in terms of, whether the sensors that you're integrating or the platforms you're integrating, if there's changes to those, maybe to the data format, or there's new alerts coming. How do you make sure that you take that into account when you're setting something like this up?
Yeah, we did take that into account because that's the main reason why we also have the Azure integration layer. And it's also good to mention that during this program, we also did a major upgrade of our ERP system, SAP, when we're deploying the digital twin. And due to that platform, the integration layer, we are able to make adaptations without impacting the Xylem Vue platform. So that means that if there are any dates, format changes, or within the applications that provide the data, we are capable of keeping it similar to it was before, so we can make alterations in that layer. For the sensors and for the water meter, that's more difficult, but the changes are also less frequent. So we did choose in that one to deliver it directly into the platform. So if there is a change, then we need to update the connector in the Xylem Vue platform, but that's also possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if Mary Cruz, were you going to add something? Or...
No, that's
okay.
perfect
So I just thought
explanation.
you took your microphone off. So another question here is how long did it take to implement the digital twin? Because clearly you've got this timeline, but that started right from the blueprint. And what technical or organizational gaps emerged during the process? You've obviously mentioned new skills, new stuff, etc., etc. So I'm guessing that was part of this. I don't know who is best placed.
Yeah, well, course, we set up the blueprint. But yeah, you see new skills appearing, so that's also constant. Or we have frequent meetings also with the management to see, okay, which new roles do we see appearing, where see we gaps, how are we going to fill these gaps. Also, from a budget perspective, managers have to be on top of that quite early. So that's a discussion. We have had several sessions on that to indicate and discuss with each other also the gaps we see. For instance, testing of smart water meters. We purchased the water meters, but before we are going to place them at the customers, we do we have a testing protocol to see if they are functioning, if all the indications on the meters are correct, for instance, and it's something new. So we've created a role for specialists, but also for people who are going to test them, for instance. So this is one of the examples that we have. But also the data scientist is more a generic role, but we can really use them to process also the data flows. For instance, also the static data of the smart water meters. If you install them, you want to really know that you install a certain meter at a certain address, because if that doesn't match, you get a very big problem in sending the wrong bill to the wrong people. So we have a dashboard where we daily just check this data flow, and this is something that we, with the data scientists, we can really, we can build these kind of dashboards pretty fast and compare all the systems where data is going through.
Okay. Well, I think we're almost at the hour now, and as I said, there's absolutely loads of questions. So for those of you who have asked a question and we haven't managed to come back to you, we will look at those afterwards and try and get an answer back to each of you. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much. It was a great presentation, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. So thank you very much for your effort, and thank you very much to all our attendees for coming along today. I believe that this will be recorded and made available for those of you who want to watch it on catch up or share with your colleagues. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.